A poor black boy found triplets on the street, not knowing they were the Arab stolen children. The crying came from inside the dumpster. 3 different voices, high-pitched, desperate, breaking the icy silence of 3 a.m. in Chicago. Kamal, 11, stopped rummaging through the restaurant container and froze. He knew that sound. It wasn't a cat, it wasn't a mouse. It was a baby. It was babies. His hands trembled as he lifted the metal lid. The dim light from the street lamp revealed 3 little faces red from crying, wrapped in dirty hospital blankets. Triplets. They couldn't have been more than a week old. Abandoned like trash among bags of rotten food. "My God," Kamal whispered, his voice fading into the bone-chilling March wind. He looked around frantically. The street was deserted. That part of the South Side always was after midnight. Only addicts, drug dealers, and kids like him, who slept in overcrowded shelters and ate whatever they could find. Kamal had 2 choices. Leave the babies there and keep looking for food, because he hadn't eaten anything but a piece of stale bread in 36 hours. Or carry them with him and add 3 hungry mouths to his own hunger. It wasn't really a choice. He took off his coat, the only one he had, donated by a church last winter, and wrapped the 3 babies carefully. They were so small that they all fit together in his thin arms. Their little bodies were shivering from the cold, but they were alive. They were still alive. "Hush, hush," he murmured, starting to walk. He didn't know where. He just knew he had to get them out of there before the March cold killed them. That's when he heard the engine. A black SUV turned the corner slowly, headlights off. Kamal felt every muscle in his body tense. He knew that kind of car, that kind of movement. Nothing good happened when expensive cars drove around without headlights on the South Side at 3 a.m. The SUV stopped 20 yards away from him. 2 doors opened. 2 men got out, white, dressed in suits, totally out of place in that neighborhood. "There he is," one of them said on the phone, loud enough for Kamal to hear. "Someone took them. A kid." "No, don't worry, we'll take care of it." Kamal didn't wait to understand. He turned and ran. His bare feet pounded the cold asphalt as he held the babies against his chest. Behind him, screams. Heavy footsteps. The sound of a gun being cocked. "Kid. Stop or I'll shoot." Kamal knew every alley, every broken fence, every shortcut on those streets. They had been his territory since he was 6, when his mother died of an overdose and he was thrown into the system. 5 years of surviving on the streets teach you how to disappear. He slipped through an opening in the fence of an abandoned factory, climbed down a manhole that only children could fit through, and emerged 3 blocks away. The babies were crying louder now, sensing his panic. "Shh, please," Kamal begged, tears finally coming. "Please be quiet." But babies don't understand danger. They only know they are hungry, cold, afraid. Kamal arrived at the only place he considered safe, Hope Baptist Church, where Pastor Bennett sometimes let street children sleep in the basement when the night was too cold. But when he arrived, he found a sign on the door, "Closed for renovations, reopens in 2 weeks." His heart sank. He looked at the 3 babies in his arms. Now that there was better light, he could see the details. They were fair-skinned babies with dark hair beginning to grow. The hospital tags were still on their tiny wrists: Baby Alzarani A, Baby Alzarani B, Baby Alzarani C. Alzarani. Kamal didn't recognize the surname, but he knew it wasn't common. He knew that babies with hospital tags didn't appear in dumpsters by accident. He ducked into the side entrance of the church, where a covered porch protected him from the rain that was beginning to fall. He unwrapped his only blanket, the one he carried in his torn backpack, and wrapped it around the 3 babies. "You need food," he whispered, feeling his stomach churn with hunger. "So do I. But you first." Kamal was 11 years old. He didn't know how to take care of babies. He didn't know where to get formula without money. He didn't know how to change diapers or calm crying. But he knew one thing: those men in the black SUV weren't looking for the babies to save them. They were looking to finish what they started. And Kamal wouldn't let that happen. What he didn't know was that at that very moment, across town, Faisal Al-Zarani, a 38-year-old Arab businessman who owned one of the largest jewelry chains in the United States, was trashing his $5 million office. His triplets had disappeared from the hospital 8 hours earlier. The security cameras had been sabotaged. The nurses hadn't seen anything. And the police had 0 leads. Faisal was offering a $15 million reward. But what he didn't know was that the person holding his children had no TV, no radio, no cell phone. He was an 11-year-old boy who slept in churches and ate from trash cans. And in the next 72 hours, that boy would make choices that would expose a conspiracy involving Faisal's own family, prove that courage has no age or social class, and show that sometimes heroes come from the most unlikely places. If this story is moving you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. What comes next will prove that justice doesn't always come from above. Sometimes it comes from the dirty hands of those whom society has taught you to ignore. The babies cried all night. Kamal tried everything, rocking them, singing softly, even tearing his t-shirt to make makeshift pacifiers. Nothing worked. They were really hungry, the kind of hunger that hurts. At dawn in March, Kamal made a risky decision. There was a pharmacy 6 blocks away, the only one in the neighborhood that opened at 6 a.m. He waited at the door with the babies hidden inside his coat, shivering from both cold and fear. When the employee opened the door, Kamal rushed in. "Please, ma'am. I need formula. 3 babies. I'll pay you back later, I swear." The woman, Ms. Chun, her name tag said, looked at him with that expression Kamal knew well. Pity mixed with suspicion. "Son, formula costs money. And where did you get 3 babies?" "I found them. On the street. Please, they'll die if you stole them." Her voice rose. "I'm calling the police." "No." Kamal backed away, holding the babies tightly. "I saved them. There were some men trying to, please just help me." That's when he heard the news on the pharmacy's TV. Businessman Faisal al-Zarani's triplets remain missing. Police suspect planned kidnapping. Reward of $15 million for information. The photo on the screen showed an Arab man in an expensive suit, his face devastated, holding empty baby blankets. Behind him, a blonde woman was crying, his wife presumably. "My God," Mrs. Chin whispered, looking at the babies in Kamal's arms, then at the TV. "It's them. You kidnapped them." "I found them." Kamal's voice faltered. "In the trash. There were men coming after them, bad men, and I ran away with them because I need to call the police." "Please no." Kamal felt hot tears welling up. Something's wrong. Why would anyone throw babies in the trash if they were kidnapped? Why were those men without uniforms, without identification? "Please, just give me formula. I'll figure out what to do." Ms. Chun studied the thin, barefoot boy, shivering from cold and exhaustion. Then she looked at the babies, who were starting to cry again. "Do you have a cell phone?" she finally asked. "I don't have anything." She sighed deeply, picked up 3 cans of formula, bottles, and diapers. "Take this. And take this old cell phone from the drawer. It's charged but doesn't have a plan. It only works with Wi-Fi. I can't pay. You'll pay me by helping these babies survive." She wrote something on a piece of paper. "This is the address of my cousin's warehouse. He's traveling for 2 weeks. The back door is unlocked. There's heat and water. Hide there." Kamal took everything with trembling hands. Why are you helping me?" "Because 40 years ago, I was a 10-year-old Vietnamese refugee. And someone helped me when everyone else just saw an Asian thief." She touched his face gently. "Go. Quickly. And kid, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it's because it is wrong." In the warehouse, Kamal finally managed to feed the babies. They sucked the formula desperately, their little bodies finally relaxing. For the first time since he found them in the dumpster, Kamal was also able to sit down and breathe. That's when he found the open Wi-Fi from the restaurant next door. He turned on his old cell phone and searched for news about the babies. What he found made his blood run cold. Faisal al-Zarani was in all the headlines. But there was something else. In the comments section of an article, someone had posted, "I know the family. Faisal's brother, Tariq, has always been jealous of his success. He always said he deserved half the company. I bet he had a hand in this." Kamal clicked on more articles. He discovered that Tariq al-Zarani was a minority partner in the company. There were old lawsuits, fights over inheritance, accusations of mismanagement, veiled threats. And then he found something that confirmed his darkest suspicions. A photo from a charity gala 6 months ago. Faisal and his pregnant wife in the center. Next to them Tariq, and behind him, partially hidden, one of the men who had pursued Kamal the night before. Kamal took a photo of the screen with his cell phone. His heart was racing. Those men weren't random kidnappers. They worked for Faisal's brother. But why? Why kill his own nephews? The answer came in another article. Al-Zarani Sr. will divide his fortune equally among his children. But a special clause states that in the event of death without heirs, the estate goes entirely to the surviving brother. Kamal understood everything. If the triplets died and something happened to Faisal, Tariq would inherit billions. But it had to look like an accident, not murder. That's why the babies were in the dumpster, to make it look like abandonment, hospital negligence. Kamal had evidence. He had the babies. And he had an impossible choice. He could take everything to the police. But he was a Blackstreet kid accusing a billionaire Arab businessman. Who would believe him? Worse, what if the police were involved? What if Tariq had bought off officers? Or he could do something riskier. Something no adult would expect from an 11-year-old. He could gather more evidence. He could record, document, build a case so solid that no one could ignore it. Kamal looked at the 3 babies finally sleeping peacefully. He gave them names in his mind. He couldn't keep calling them A, B, and C. The first would be Adam, because he was the first to stop crying. The second would be Elijah, a name he heard in a song his mother sang. The third would be Isaac, strong and resilient. "I'll protect you," Kamal whispered. "But not the way they expect. I'll make your uncle pay for what he did. And I'll do it the right way." What Kamal didn't know was that at that moment, Tariq al-Zarani was in a closed meeting with his mercenaries, planning how to find the dead babies and blame Kamal as a failed kidnapper. And that in the next 48 hours, an 11-year-old boy would use intelligence, stolen technology, and unwavering courage to turn the tables on a man who thought money could buy everything, including silence. Kamal spent the next 2 days gathering evidence. Using the restaurant's Wi-Fi, he hacked into Tariq's email account. The password was on a post-it note accidentally photographed during a public interview. Amateur. Arrogant. What he found confirmed everything. Emails to the mercenaries. Bank transfers. Detailed plans. Tariq didn't just want the babies dead. He wanted Faisal to suffer first, emotionally destroyed before accidentally dying too. Kamal downloaded everything onto his old cell phone. Then he did something even more daring. On the morning of the 3rd day since the rescue, he created an anonymous Twitter account. He posted, "I know where the Al-Zarani triplets are. And I know who stole them. Proof in 24 hours. Hashtag Justice for Adam Elijah Isaac." Within 3 hours, it went viral. 50,000 shares. Journalists frantically searching for the source. The police trying to trace the IP. And Tariq panicking. Kamal watched the news on the warehouse TV while feeding the babies. Tariq held a press conference, crying fake tears, offering another $5 million for the safety of my nephews. Hypocrite, Kamal spat. That night, he made his final move. He sent an anonymous message to Faisal, "Your children are alive. Your brother tried to kill them. Proof, tomorrow at 2 p.m., live broadcast on the @Justica Trigemios account. Bring real police, not the ones bought by Tariq." Then he hacked into the security system at Tariq's office, ridiculously easy for someone who learned technology in public libraries. He set up a live stream from the internal cameras. And he waited. At 1 p.m. on the 4th day since the rescue, the @Justica Trigemios account began streaming. 200,000 people were watching within minutes. The first image, the 3 babies, healthy, clean, sleeping peacefully in the warehouse. Caption, Adam, Elijah, and Isaac al-Zarani. Alive. Saved by those society calls trash. The second, screenshots of Tariq's emails ordering the disposal of the babies. Amounts paid. Precise dates. The third, live video from Tariq's office, where he was shouting into the phone, "I don't care how. Find that kid and finish this. Kill him and the babies now." The internet exploded. Faisal, watching from the central police station with the FBI, felt his knees buckle. His brother. His own flesh and blood. "Track that IP," the federal agent shouted. We have an arrest warrant for Tariq al-Zahrani. But Tariq was already on the run. His mercenaries had discovered Kamal's location through Wi-Fi tracking, the only flaw in the boys' plan. The black SUV pulled up in front of the warehouse at 2:17 p.m. 3 armed men got out. Kamal was ready. He had scattered paint cans across the floor, stretched wires at ankle height, and strategically unstable shelves. He had learned from years of surviving on the streets, always have an escape route. The first mercenary slipped and hit his head. The second tripped on the wire, and a shelf collapsed on him. The third drew his gun, but Kamal was already on the fire escape with the 3 babies tied in cloths to his chest. "You have nowhere to go, kid," the man shouted as he climbed up. Kamal reached the roof. 6 stories above the ground. No way out. That's when he heard sirens. Lots of sirens. The FBI, police, news cars, an entire fleet surrounding the building. The live broadcast was still running, 800,000 people watching. TV helicopters capturing everything. Drop your weapons. Police megaphones. Building surrounded. The mercenary pointed his gun at Kamal. "Give me the babies or..." A sniper shot hit his hand. The gun flew away. He fell, screaming. Faisal got out of one of the cars, running like crazy. "My children! My children!" Kamal looked down. He saw the Arab man in the expensive suit, his face devastated, his arms outstretched. And something inside him broke, all the pain, fear, hunger, and loneliness of 5 years on the streets. "They're fine," Kamal shouted, his voice cracking. "I took care of them. I gave them names. I didn't let anyone hurt them." Firefighters brought ladders. Kamal climbed down slowly, protecting the babies. When his feet touched the ground, his legs gave way. Faisal took the 3 babies in his trembling hands, tears falling freely. He checked each face, each finger, memorizing that they were whole, alive. "Adam, Elijah, Isaac," Kamal whispered. I gave them names. I'm sorry they're yours, but I couldn't call them letters." Faisal looked at the thin, barefoot, trembling black boy, and knelt in front of him. "You saved my children. You are a child, and you did what grown men failed to do." His voice broke. "Adam, Elijah, Isaac. Perfect names. We will keep them." At that moment, federal agents were arresting Tariq at the city limits. Cameras captured it all, him being handcuffed, yelling about lawyers, trying to bribe police officers live for 2 million viewers. His reputation, his company, his freedom, all destroyed in real time by an 11-year-old boy with an old cell phone and unwavering courage. What no one in that parking lot knew was that the story was far from over, and that Faisal's next words would change Kamal's life in ways that no cash reward could. 3 months after that March night, Kamal was sitting in a room that looked like something out of a movie. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, huge windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Faisal al-Zahrani's mansion had 12 bedrooms. Kamal now lived in one of them. But getting there wasn't easy. In the first few weeks, the media tried to turn Kamal into an instant celebrity. TV shows, movie offers, people wanting to adopt him for publicity. Faisal blocked everything. "You're not a trophy," he said at the hospital where Kamal was being treated for severe malnutrition. "You're a hero. And heroes deserve respect, not a circus." Faisal's family resisted. His parents, traditional Saudi immigrants, were horrified by the idea of adopting a black street kid. His wife Jennifer also hesitated at first. "He saved your children," Faisal said during a tense family dinner. "He risked his life. He used intelligence that puts adults to shame. If you can't accept that, that's your problem." It took 6 weeks of family therapy and tears. But eventually everyone gave in. Especially after they saw Kamal caring for the triplets with a tenderness that defied his age. "Adam doesn't like loud noises," Kamal explained to the nurse. "Elijah needs to be rocked on his left side. Isaac will only sleep if you hum." Jennifer watched, her heart softening. That boy knew her children better than she did. Tariq al-Zahrani was sentenced to 35 years without parole. Attempted triple murder, conspiracy, corruption. His empire collapsed, companies confiscated, accounts frozen, reputation destroyed. During the trial, he looked at Kamal in the gallery. "A street kid destroyed me," he spat with contempt. No, the judge corrected him. Your choices destroyed you. That boy just revealed who you always were. The three mercenaries got 20 years each. 2 corrupt police officers were fired and prosecuted. Kamal enrolled in a private school in June. It was brutal at first. Rich kids made fun of him. But his grades quickly rose to the top of the class. Faisal created an educational fund in Kamal's name, not for him, but for other street children. How many Kamals are sleeping in garbage dumps right now, he said in an interview. Ms. Chun received $100,000 and lifetime health insurance. You risked everything, Faisal said. That's worth more than all my money. On a hot June afternoon, Kamal was in the garden with the triplets, now 4 months old, healthy, always smiling when they saw their big brother. KK. Adam babbled, reaching out his little hands. He couldn't say Kamal yet, but he was trying. Jennifer sat down beside him. 3 months ago, you were invisible. Society ignored you, treated you like trash. She touched his face gently. Now you're my children's brother. And I realize you were always worth more than people like Tariq. You just needed someone to see it. Kamal felt hot tears welling up. For the first time in 5 years, they weren't tears of pain. They were tears of belonging. Faisal joined them, picking up Isaac. You taught me something, Kamal. I taught you about privilege, education, opportunity. But you taught me about character. About doing the right thing when no one is watching. He paused. Tariq had billions and used it to kill. You had nothing and used it to save. That's not luck. It's who you chose to be. In September, exactly 6 months after that cold March morning, the Al-Zarani Williams family made the adoption official in court. Kamal now had a last name, a family, a future. The 6.5-month-old triplets were in Jennifer's arms, healthy and happy. When I grow up, Kamal said that night as he rocked Isaac, I'm going to create a system that finds street kids with potential. I'm going to give them what you gave me, a chance. You don't have to wait until you grow up, Faisal replied. Let's start now. Together. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel. Heroism doesn't require money, age, or privilege. It just requires a heart willing to do the right thing, even when the world says you don't matter. Kamal proved that he mattered. 3 living babies are proof of that. And Tariq, rotting in federal prison, is an eternal reminder that sophisticated evil is still evil, and always loses to genuine goodness. Value isn't measured by your bank account. It's measured by the choices you make when no one is forcing you to choose well. Kamal, at 11 years old, taught that to a billionaire. And that lesson is worth more than all 15 million in reward money.